Okay, so I apologize. We're going to rewind just a little bit. And again, thank you all who are able to be here this evening. The purpose of today's meeting is just to touch base with our underclassmen students and parents and kind of set forth the expectations for the remainder of the school year. I'm going to start sharing my screen because I have a very short PowerPoint. Let's see if I could. Okay, so we kind of already did an introduction, but because I didn't record it, I'm going to do it again briefly and quickly. With us here tonight, I'm Susie Hendy. I'm principal here at Centennial. Our principals that are here with me tonight is Katie Laws, Vicky Madrid, and our admin intern, Tanya Massey. Also with us tonight are our Hawk counselors. We have Hillary Benavides, Jessica Reese, and Monty Womble. Okay, so that was just a quick, brief introduction. Okay, so every year we have our student government has Centennial teachers who are their class sponsors. So it's very important that anytime you see something going on with your class, so freshman class meeting or sophomore class or anything, to get involved with the school and get involved in activities. If you're interested and need to know more for the freshman class, the class sponsor is Miss Araceli Chaparro, and she is one of our freshman math teachers, and she can be found in the Freshman Academy or through email. Our sophomore class sponsor is Miss Amy Garcia, who also teaches in the academy as well as other classes, but is located in the Freshman Academy. And our junior class sponsor is Sabrina Zamora. And so students, parents, if you ever have any questions about activities, student government activities that are going on, would like more information, these are the sponsors that you should direct your students to go talk to. Okay, one of the topics we wanted to discuss for tonight is attendance. So prior to this year, we used to have what's called NCs, which stands for no credits. Due to the pandemic and change in policy, we no longer do the NCs. So we have to try super hard to make sure kids are held accountable for coming to school. So we do have an attendance for success plans that we're starting with. We start with our teachers and counselors making contact with parents, students who have an excess amount of absences. From there, we do home visits, and then we report it to our district attendance liaison, who also goes out to the home and does like a wellness check, like why is the student not coming to class, things like that. So that is our attendance for success plan. To keep that from happening, we do encourage you to send notes for excused absences. And an excused absence is anything from, you know your child was sick and so you kept him home, or you were out of town on a family trip. That is an excused absence, as long as you as the parent send the note. So as long as you write the note, you send it, we will excuse those absences. It does need to be documented either through a handwritten or a note, a paper note that you bring to school, or through an email that you send to our attendance secretary. She does approve excused absences via email. If you look at this PowerPoint, I have added her name and email address. You don't need to write any of this down because I am recording it and I will be sending it out to all parents. But anyways, contact Nancy Martinez. When you do write an email or when you do write a note, please be specific on what days and class periods, because a lot of times the note will be for a 2 o'clock doctor appointment, but yet the student was absent all day. So we need to know, why was the student absent all day? What was the reason? Or maybe they weren't absent all day. So we need to make sure we know what classes to excuse them for. So please be as specific as possible on your excused absence notes. Unexcused absences are the ones where we don't hear from you, and we start counting towards the attendance for success plan. To my admin team and my counselors, please don't hesitate to unmute and add your 2 cents if I leave something out, okay? And also, if you'll help with the chat, I don't know, I forgot to say that earlier. If there's any questions in the chat, if you guys will help answer those. And if I need to answer a question out loud, let me know. Okay. Next, I'd like to introduce Ms. Katie Laws, who's going to talk a little bit about Canvas.
Good evening. Hello, everyone. And thank you for taking this time to jump on this Zoom. So we cannot stress enough that the expectation now is that learning is in person. So we need to have your kiddos at school. And as always, like Ms. Hendy was just talking about, if for any reason your student is absent, let us know. But it's important for your student to advocate for themselves. They can email their teacher, they can talk to their teacher in person, you know, what did I miss? Any of those sorts of things, and know that Canvas is being used as a supplemental tool by the teaching staff. So I cannot stress enough that learning is in person now. So
awesome. Thank you, Ms. Laws. Okay, so we have finals coming up in May. This year, it's a little different because of the balanced calendar. So this is the first year that I've ever, and probably all of our students have ever gone to school after Memorial Day. But unfortunately, that is the case. We do not end school until June 2nd. And because we are a high school, we do have final exams, and students must take the final exams. Final exam is worth 20% of your final semester grade. So I encourage you to have your students in class, have them do the review with the class, and take the final exam serious. 20% is a big chunk of your grade that could make if you're low and struggling, it might bump you up, or it might, if you don't do well, it might bump you down. So you want to make sure that you take the final exam seriously. It is a mandatory completion. Nobody is exempt from final exams. You must take it. And if you don't take it, you will not receive a passing grade. We do have early final requests, but they must be signed by parent, student, teacher, and administrator. So I need to reiterate, school ends June 2nd. We will not be signing early final requests for students just because they don't want to come to school after Memorial Day. I'm sorry, but we did not pick this schedule. So school ends June 2nd. We did create our schedule a little different, and I'll share that with you in a bit. But for the most part, please know we will not be signing early finals requests so that you can take your final early unless it's a serious circumstance that can't be avoided. Okay, family vacations, things like that will not necessarily be accepted. Remember, teachers, according to our district policy, teachers may choose to give you early finals when the request has been verified and when the administrator has approved it, or if the student, the teachers also have the right to allow you to take it after you return. So what that means is if one teacher says, no, I don't have the final exam ready, you're going to have to take it after school ends, then that means sometime during the summer or when you return from school, you have to make arrangements for that teacher to finish the semester. So again, be here on your final exam date to avoid any of those situations, okay? Do I have any questions, admin team, on the chat that I need to answer? Nope. All right, good deal. Okay, here is our final exam schedule for this year, for this May. Again, we go to school through June 2nd, but what we have done is we're starting the reviews the week before. So if you look at the schedule, we start reviewing on Wednesday, May 24th. Then we're taking 2 tests a day beginning on Thursday. So first and second period will be Thursday, third and fourth will be Friday, and the third and fourth reviews will be Thursday. So I think if you look at this schedule, you can kind of see a pattern. We review one day, test the next. Review one day, test the next. On Monday, May 29th, we do not have school. That is Memorial Day. And so we will resume on Tuesday, May 30th. Now, if you don't miss any of your finals, then your last final is on Wednesday. Okay, that is only if you don't miss. We have allotted for makeup exams because some kids will miss. So if you're leaving, let's say for a long weekend for Memorial Day and you leave on Friday and you miss your third and fourth period test, then you have Wednesday after lunch to make up your third and fourth period final. So because we anticipate that there might be that situation, we have allotted for a few days to be makeup days. So beginning Wednesday at 10:31, you'll see that we begin our makeup exams. And it runs us through Thursday. And then Friday, we're gonna if students needed extra time on the exam and they didn't finish, anything like that, we're gonna do those on Friday, and that's gonna be a regular bell schedule, which means you'll only have 42 minutes in each class on Friday, June 2nd, and then that is the end of the semester, okay? And Mrs. Madrid is gonna talk to us about the end of the year.
Yes, so the end of the year, and as Ms. Hendy said, this schedule is new to all of us, and I know it's kind of weird already being at the end of March and barely starting the last 9 weeks, but our staff still has so much to cover, and so please make sure that we finish strong. You're coming to school. I know with such beautiful weather, especially today, it's very tempting to not want to come to school and to go do other things, but please make sure you're coming and we're finishing strong and we're getting those grades that we need and those credits that we need. Check your assignments, check your grades, check, your student view. Parents, please check your parent view. You can contact teachers through there just to make sure, we're a team and we're supporting students and ensuring that they're getting everything that they need to be done. My juniors, my class of 2024, our testing season is in full swing starting tomorrow. So they spent the first 2 days of this week reviewing their past science subjects. And then starting tomorrow through Monday, they're going to be taking the New Mexico Assessment of Science Readiness. And that is the state science exam. It is mandatory. They have to take it for graduation. They'll be taking that through their physics classes. If for some reason, they get ill or they have a doctor's appointment or anything like that, please have them reach out to me so that I can make those arrangements and we can make sure that they get tested. Okay. The 12th of April is SAT. That is also for the class of 2024, my juniors. That is a remote learning day for all other grade levels, but all of my juniors will need to be there. If we can get them there by 8:15, if they are bus riders, that's fine. We will wait for them in their classes to begin, but it is important. That is also a mandatory test for them to graduate. The rosters and their testing room, that is actually going to be going up in the morning. That will be in the commons area of A building and the commons area of B building for them to know their location for April 12th test. Okay. AP testing, it is the first 2 weeks of May. So if your student is taking an AP exam, that is the first 2 weeks in May. And as you know, some of our athletes, our activities, they have state coming up or things like that that happen. If your student is taking an AP exam and their state competition or, you know, a national competition for something is happening during their exam time, have them reach out to me and we can make some arrangements for that as well. Okay. The AP testing, if your student is an AP in AP classes, please make sure, double check with Miss Signs. She is in B building, that they have paid for that test and that they are good to go for that. Also, it's not too late to request ACE or dual credit for next year. Please reach out to your counselors. Those are amazing opportunities for our students. And we want to make sure that we do everything we can at the end of this year to prepare for a strong start next year. Thank you all. Miss Hendy, I think you're muted, or maybe it's just me.
No, I was muted.
Okay.
All right, Miss Benavides.
Okay, I'll be talking about summer school. We'll be starting June 6th. There's 2 sessions. So June 6th through June 16th, session A and B. June 19th through the 29th, also a session A and B for our students. It is $50 per half credit. And then if a student wants to, what is it, what is it? 200?
Accelerate.
Oh, to accelerate.
Yeah.
It's $200 for acceleration. Students who would be taking summer school are students who have failed a course.
So, and just to add to that, it's free to all students unless they failed the class. If they have failed a night school class, that's when they pay the $50. Yeah, thank you, Ms. Benavides. Thank you so much. I'm not sure what my computer wants me to do. Okay, now we get to the beginning of next year. As you should have been aware by now, our school board has voted for 2 more years of a balanced calendar. I know this is our first year and people have so many mixed feelings about it. You know, just as with anything, it takes time to get used to change. And I think this year was kind of rough at the beginning because we started so early and we didn't have many breaks. But this school year, I know I truly enjoyed my 2-week fall break and my 2-week spring break. But anyhow, we will be starting school in July again, like it or not. Because this is the approved calendar, a lot of people think that they can start on their regular time, and I need to stress the importance that teaching begins day 1. So the first day of students in school is the first day that students are expected to be at school. So if you look at the calendar, I took just a little picture of the July calendar. Teachers begin reporting on July 12th. For the rest of the week, they have their special trainings that they attend. Then on the July 17th and 18th, teachers report to their classrooms. They start getting ready, start preparing lessons, preparing their syllabus. And on the 19th, the only students who report to Centennial are the incoming freshmen. So everybody that's in here right now, you guys will be doing remote learning on the 19th. And kind of our reason for doing that, and if you're a freshman this year, you went through it. It's a nice transition for our incoming freshmen to get 1 day by themselves in school and get to see what the school is like and maybe find their classes without that intimidation of the upperclassmen watching them or looking at them or waiting for them to mess up and lose their, place in the cafeteria line or lose their way to class. So we'd like to give our incoming freshmen 1 day to transition into high school. On the 19th, the expectation is that all of you, our current students, log on to Canvas. Your teachers will have a welcome letter, maybe ask you to review the syllabus that they're going to upload in Canvas. Your schedule will be uploaded by July 19th on Canvas. And then 20th, you're back in school. You are here at Centennial on the 20th. And if you click on this link, as I stated, I will be sending this this PowerPoint out to you all. If you click on this link, it'll take you directly to the school LCPS webpage, which has the full version of this calendar. All right, and I believe that is the end of our presentation. I think you all have been pretty quiet on the question answer session, but we still have plenty of time. Does anyone have any questions? You can't raise your hand, unfortunately, the way the webinar is set up. You can't raise your hand, but if you will put a question in the question answer, we'll answer it out loud so everyone hears. Okay, is there a question in the chat?
There was one that just asked for more notice for meetings. And if I'm not mistaken, this was sent in the parent newsletter back in March. When we send them out at the beginning of the month, our parent meetings were put in there.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Madrid. Yes, I try to send out a newsletter at the beginning of each month. And I did put not only I send a calendar in the newsletter that says everything that's happening. As you can see, this spring semester, we have a lot of activities going on. So there's a lot of different events. But in that newsletter was today's scheduled meeting as well as the Zoom link. So today's reminder was just that. It was just a reminder.
So there's other questions in there. There was one specifically about enrichment days. As of right now, there are no enrichment days for next year's calendar. But this year, our staff did an amazing job on those enrichment days. They were not regular bell schedule days with regular instruction, but they were more of kind of life lessons, financial literacy, things like that, that are really important for our students to know. And our staff, honestly, they knocked it out of the park. They did such a great job. There was also a question in there about AP testing. Honors classes are different than AP classes. So take a look at your student's schedule. And if it says AP in the course title, then it's an AP exam.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Madrid.
There's a question about study guides being sent home for the finals. Someone want to tackle that?
Yeah, so the teachers themselves, they'll send those out or they'll review them with students themselves. For specific classes, please contact those teachers. There was also a question in there about our sophomores for next year, our current freshmen that are going to be sophomores for next year, taking the PSAT. They will be taking that in October. We give the PSAT/NMSQT. So our sophomores will be taking that in October of next year. Our current sophomores who are going to be juniors, you'll also have an opportunity to take that exam to try for National Merit Scholar if that's something that you're interested in. Please make sure that you pay attention to Canvas announcements and everything, like in late August, early September. That's when I put that link in to sign up for those. But all of our sophomores will take it, so they don't need to sign up.
And then there was a question about summer PE, if it will be online.
I'll let Mr. Womble answer that.
Yeah, usually they do offer it, but the problem is with our new schedule, because it's only the month of June, students aren't able to complete that entire credit. So if they want to do summer school PE, they'd probably take part A this summer, part B next summer, or something like that. With it being online, I would again have them maybe check with their counselor to see it's a different schedule with it being through the Virtual Learning Academy, because we don't actually do it at our school.
And to add to that, any summer school acceleration credit recovery through VLA and through in-person is not available yet. We have the specific dates, but we don't have any specific classes or any sign-up sheets or any forms to complete just yet. But when we do get that information from VLA or Centennial, we will be sharing it via email, via text message. We will post flyers around campus with a QR code. We will post it on the Canvas announcements. It will be shared everywhere possible, possibly even on social media. So just be on the lookout for that, probably more towards May.
Awesome.
And then one parent wants to know if next year's daily school schedule will be the same. Ms. Hindi, you want to tackle that?
Well, we are sticking to the 7-period days, so I anticipate a similar schedule, if not exactly the same schedule. Those are decisions that we make pending our classes but I know we will still be having a 7-period day. And I feel like I'm losing my mind sometimes. I don't know if Miss Madrid may have said this, but as far as the enrichment days, next year, we will not be having them. Did you say that, Miss Madrid? Okay.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
I'm going crazy sometimes, but okay.
Another parent says, if my son got into a camp that is awarding credits at NMSU this summer, do I report that to the school?
You have to report that to, it has to come through an administrator. It has to be approved. So it all depends what kind of camp it is and what they're covering. Mr. Womble, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I know the one that I'm aware of is like something called NM Prep. And if that's the one, they will actually, it's kind of like what they do with dual credit is they'll get that and they'll send that to us. If it's something different, probably reach out to the counselor to make sure, but that's the one that I'm aware of.
Awesome.
And that looks like all of the questions.
Yay.
So yeah, the comment did come up. It is in prep, and usually that is directly reported to us, and we'll get a transcript and we'll get it on there.
All right. Okay. Well, again, the purpose of this meeting is to just keep in communication with you as best as we can. We try to have one every spring, every fall and every spring. So we had one in the fall. This is our spring one. It's the beginning, towards the beginning of the fourth quarter. So we want everyone focused. We want everyone to end strong. Again, communication, reach out to us if you ever have any questions, phone calls, emails. I do send out the newsletter. I know newsletters are kind of, sometimes you read them and you're like, oh, what information, you kind of skim through it. What information do I really need from this newsletter? And I know that because I have a child myself in middle school, and that's what I do to the newsletters. But just kind of skim through it and see what is, what pertains to you, what information will affect you or your student. And also we put a lot of information on our Canvas page. So parents, every now and then ask your student, let me see the Canvas page. We have so many announcements that are up there that give a lot of information. I encourage you to look at the counselor Canvas page, especially our juniors who will be seniors next year. The counselors put so much information on their page regarding scholarships and post-secondary opportunities. So make sure that you are keeping in the know as much as possible. And then again, follow us on social media. So.
Before we go, there was a question about sharing the finals schedule. And also, so when will that be shared? And then the second question about finals was if their finals are completed by Wednesday, do they have to return Thursday and Friday?
Okay.
So I actually responded to that parent. We we want kids in school for as long as they can be in school, you know, things like that. We want them to make those memories. But if your student is done, that is a parent decision. But please make sure that you communicate that absence with us, how we covered earlier in the presentation.
Great question, great answer. Okay. All right, well, like I said, I tried to keep it short. Thank you all for joining us this evening. And oh, back to the finals question, I realized I didn't answer it. I recorded this presentation, so I'm going to attach this to one of the newsletter, one of our s'mores that I send out. In that s'more will be the final exam schedule as well. So this video, along with the final exam schedule and anything else I can think to send you, you'll have it by the end of the week. I won't say tonight because I still have to do some stuff, but you'll have it by the end of the week. Okay? All right, awesome. Everyone have a great evening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to my staff for helping out today.